Happy birthday to my future wife. My husband's voice boomed through the restaurant speakers as I sat frozen at our table, staring at the anniversary cake I'd secretly ordered. He wasn't talking to me. He was standing across the room, holding a microphone, singing to Sod, his business partner, on her birthday. On our 5th wedding anniversary. In the same restaurant. At the same time. That was the moment I, Yeton Coker, realized I had become the side chick in my own marriage. For Valentine's Day 2 months earlier, he'd bought her diamonds, a new iPhone, and flowers with a note that said, "To the only woman who truly understands me." He bought me a blender. A blender. I stayed quiet through it all. I accepted everything, until the night he made a choice that cost me more than my dignity. It cost me something I can never get back. Before diving into the story, don't forget to subscribe to Folktales by Amora and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. My name is Yotand, and if you asked my friends to describe me, they'd all say the same thing: that girl is too nice for this world. They weren't wrong. I was the type of woman who would apologize when someone else stepped on my foot. If a waiter brought me the wrong order, I'd eat it anyway and still leave a tip. This training didn't happen by accident. It was carefully programmed into me from childhood. My grandmother used to hold my face in her weathered hands and say, "Yotand, a woman who knows how to bend will never break." My mother had her own version: a wise woman builds her home with her hands, but a foolish one tears it down with her mouth. Translation: shut up and endure. That was my inheritance. So when I married Femi 5 years ago, I brought my gentleness like it was part of my bride price. I brought patience, understanding, and the ability to overlook things that would make other women burn their husbands' clothes in the front yard. Femi was everything on paper: handsome, owned a successful logistics company, came from a good family. Everyone said I'd hit the jackpot. Even I believed it. What I didn't know was that the company came with Sod Bakir. Just saying her name makes my chest tighten even now. She joined Femi's company 6 months before our wedding as a business development consultant. Beautiful in that way that made you hate yourself a little bit. Always dressed like she was about to close $1 million deal, which, honestly, she often was. Whenever I expressed even the tiniest concern about her constant presence, Femi would wave it off. "Sod is essential to the business. She's the reason we're expanding to 3 new states. You want me to succeed, don't you?" Of course I did. So I swallowed my concerns and smiled. I didn't know I was swallowing poison. The disrespect started small, like a leak in your ceiling. You barely notice the first drip, but before you know it, your whole house is flooded. The phone password. I used to know Femi's phone password. It was my birthday 08-15. Sweet, right? One morning, I picked up his phone to check the time, and it didn't work. When I asked him about it casually, like it was nothing, he shrugged. Sod said predictable passwords are security risks, especially with all the sensitive business information I handle. Sod said. Those 2 words became the theme song of my marriage. The new password. I found out by accident when he typed it in front of me. It was Soda's birthday. The family wedding. Femi's cousin was getting married in Ibadan, one of those big society weddings where everyone pretends they are richer than they are. I was excited. Our first family event in months. The morning of the wedding, Femi dropped this bomb: "Sod is coming with us." Why? My voice came out smaller than I intended. Her car broke down, and she really wanted to attend. Plus, she knows the groom's family, potential business partners. Everything was always about business. We arrived as a trio. But here's what broke something inside me: when Femi's aunties and uncles greeted us, he introduced Sod first. Every single time. "This is Sod, my business partner. We run the company together." Then, like I was an afterthought, "And this is Yotand, my wife. One auntie actually looked confused and pointed at Sod. Oh. I thought this one was your wife. Sod laughed, that bright, tinkling sound that felt like nails on my soul. Oh, auntie, Femi and I are just partners. Your Yotand is the lucky one who gets to take him home. The way she said lucky made you wonder who was really winning. The office visit. I worked as a nurse at a private hospital. Crazy shift, but I still tried to be a good wife. One evening, I surprised Femi at his office with his favorite meal, jollof rice and pepper chicken from Momakas. His secretary looked uncomfortable when she saw me. Madam, Oga is in a meeting. I'll wait, I said, settling in. 30 minutes later, Femi emerged from his office, with Sod. They were laughing about something, comfortable in that way that made my stomach drop. When Femi saw me, his smile disappeared. You're turned. What are you doing here? Not, what a nice surprise. Not, I'm happy to see you. Just, what are you doing here? Like I was trespassing in my own husband's office. I brought you dinner, I said, holding up the package. Sod glanced at the food, then at me, with something that looked like pity. Oh, that's sweet. But Femi and I already ordered in. We're working late on the Rivers State contract. We? Working late. Already ordered in. You should have called first, Femi said, irritation clear in his voice. I would have told you not to bother. Don't bother. Those 2 words followed me home and stayed with me for weeks. The humiliation could have gone on forever. I was trained for it, remember? But then something happened that changed everything. After a year of trying, of negative pregnancy tests that felt like personal failures, I finally saw those 2 beautiful lines. Pregnant. I was carrying Femi's baby. Joy doesn't even describe what I felt. This would fix us. This would bring him back to me, to US. I planned a special dinner at home, cooked his favorite egusi soup, bought a tiny pair of baby shoes, and placed them on his dinner plate as a surprise. He came home late of course, but he came home alone, which felt like winning the lottery these days. What's this? He asked, picking up the tiny shoes. We are pregnant, I whispered, tears streaming down my face. For one beautiful moment, I saw the old Femi. His eyes went wide, his mouth opened, and he looked genuinely moved. Baby, this is... Then his phone rang. Soda's name flashed on the screen like a curse. Hold on, I have to take this, he said, already turning away. I heard fragments from the hallway. No, I'm still coming. Yes, I know it's important. Give me 20 minutes. He came back putting on his jacket. I'm sorry, babe. Crisis at the Lekki warehouse. I have to go. Femi, I just told you we're having a baby. I know. And I'm so happy. We'll celebrate tomorrow, I promise. But this can't wait. He kissed my forehead and left. I sat alone at that table, staring at those tiny shoes, and something inside me finally cracked. 2 weeks later, I was 7 weeks pregnant and trying to stay positive. The doctor said everything looked good, but I needed to avoid stress. Stress found me anyway. Femi announced another business trip to Port Harcourt. I didn't even argue anymore. I was too tired, too defeated. But that night, around 11 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, is this Mrs. Coker? Yes, who's this? This is Dr. Adelik from St. Nicholas Hospital in Port Harcourt. Your husband has been in an accident. The word stopped. What? Is he okay? What happened? He's stable now, but he was in a car crash. You should come immediately. I didn't think. I threw clothes in a bag, booked the first flight, and by 6 a.m., I was in Port Harcourt. The hospital smelled like disinfectant and fear. They directed me to room 302. I pushed open the door and froze. Femi was in the bed, bandaged but awake. And sitting beside him, holding his hand, was Sod. Her head on his shoulder. She was crying. They both looked up. Soda's tears stopped instantly. "You're turned," Femi said weakly. "You came." "Of course I came. You're my husband." "What happened?" My voice was shaking. Before Femi could answer, Sod spoke. "We were driving back from a site inspection when a truck hit us. Femi, he protected me." Her voice broke dramatically. "He pushed me out of the way. He could have died." She said it like it was romantic. Like he was some hero in her personal love story. "You protected her," I said to Femi, my voice flat. "It was instinct." She was closer to the impact. "Your pregnant wife is standing here. Your pregnant wife flew across the country thinking you might be dying. And the first thing I see is you holding another woman's hand." Sod stood up. "I should give you privacy." "No. Stay. Clearly, you're more important here than I am." "You're turned. Don't be dramatic," Femi said tiredly. "I'm in a hospital bed. Can we not do this now?" Dramatic. There was that word again. But this time, something was different. This time, I felt a sharp pain, not emotional. Physical. A cramping sensation that made me double over. "Are you okay?" Femi asked. I don't know." The cramping got worse. I looked down and saw it, a dark stain spreading across my dress. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." I collapsed. The last thing I heard was Femi screaming my name. For once, he sounded like he actually cared. I woke up in a different room. Different bed. Different reality. The doctor's face told me everything before she spoke. "Mrs. Coker, I'm so sorry. The combination of stress and travel, you've had a miscarriage." The baby was gone. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just stared at the ceiling, completely hollow. Like someone had scooped out everything that mattered and left just the shell. Femi appeared in the doorway, now in a wheelchair, looking destroyed. "You're turned, the baby. Get out. Please, let me. Get out." The scream came from somewhere deep, somewhere primal. "You killed our baby. Your business partner, your late nights, your accidents protecting other women, you killed our baby. That's not fair. You chose her. Every single time, you chose her. And now our baby is dead because I flew here panicking, only to find you comforting the woman you really love." A nurse rushed in, worried about my blood pressure. Femi was wheeled out. I spent 3 days in that hospital alone. On the 4th day, I flew back to Lagos, packed everything I owned, and moved to my friend Funk's place. When Femi finally found me, I handed him divorce papers. The divorce process revealed truths that made me feel stupid for ever trusting him. During asset division, my lawyer discovered something that changed everything. Sod wasn't just a business partner, she was a co-owner. Femi had given her 40% of the company. 40% of the business I thought we were building for our future, signed over 3 years into our marriage. And here's the kicker, he'd forged my signature on documents that legally required spousal consent. When confronted, he finally broke down. "She gave me capital when the business was failing. I would have lost everything. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd be upset. So you committed fraud instead. I was protecting you." There it was again, in his twisted definition of protection. Protecting Sod from the crash. Protecting me from the truth. Everyone protected except our actual marriage. The legal battle was ugly. But I had something I'd never had before, anger. Beautiful, clarifying anger. I wasn't gentle your turn anymore. I was a woman who'd lost everything and had nothing left to lose. 2 years passed. The divorce was finalized. I got a settlement, not what I deserved, but enough. More importantly, I got myself back. I enrolled in a master's program in public health. Started a support group for women experiencing pregnancy loss called Sisters in Healing. I learned to speak up at work. When colleagues tried to dump their tasks on me, I said, "That's not my responsibility." People were shocked. Someone said, "Your tongue is growing wings." I just smiled. Then, one Saturday afternoon, I saw them. I was at a cafe in Victoria Island, reviewing applications for my support group, when they walked in. Femi and Sod, clearly arguing. I watched as Sod gestured angrily, her voice rising. 3 years, Femi, still haven't told your family, tired of being your secret. Oh, the delicious irony. Sod, who'd been the priority for years, was now begging for acknowledgement. And Femi looked miserable, trapped in the bed he'd made. Our eyes met. He went pale and started walking toward me. I calmly gathered my things and stood. As I passed their table, Sod looked up. For just a moment, I saw it, the insecurity, the fear. She'd won the man but inherited all the problems. "You turned." "Wait," Femi called out. I turned, looked him dead in the eye, and smiled a real smile. "I hope you find what you're looking for, Femi." I already did. And I walked out. Not as the side chick. Not as the victim. But as you turned whole, healed, and free. If you're watching this and seeing yourself in my story, here's what I learned. First, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Your gut knows before your heart admits it. Second, you cannot compete where you should be prioritized. If you're fighting for basic respect, you've already lost. Third, gentleness without boundaries is just exploitation waiting to happen. Fourth, when someone shows you who they are through their actions, believe them. Not their words. Fifth, you are never a side chick in your own life. Anyone who makes you feel secondary doesn't deserve any role in your story. I was a side chick in my own marriage. But that's not where my story ends, that's where it begins. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below, what lesson hit you hardest? And don't forget to subscribe to Folktales by Amora for more stories of resilience. You deserve to be the only choice, not an option.